Okay, folks, we're going to talk about gratitude today. Now, we've been discussing letting go this month uh, and what it means, what keeps us from it, how to overcome the challenges. And this week, we've been discussing sort of the art of letting go. And yesterday, we explored forgiveness. Because they're the three powerhouses. There's forgiveness, there's gratitude, and there's grace. And we really got to talk about gratitude because it's a big deal. Now let's talk. Well, what is gratitude, right? Like, okay, we kind of know what it is, but sometimes we don't really think about it. Gratitude is the act of recognizing and feeling fortunate for the positive things in our lives, whether they're big or small, whether they're expected or surprising. It's an emotional acknowledgement of the good things we have, the people who support us, and the growth that we experience through experience. The growth we experience, through challenges and experience, right? But at its core, gratitude is a shift in focus. It's moving from focusing on what you perceive as lacking in your life or difficult or a loss, and instead appreciating the things that bring value and meaning and connection into our lives. The thing about gratitude is that it's got to be authentic, and we'll discuss the problems kind of inherent in that. But true gratitude is authentic, and it's often spontaneous. And when it's nurtured, it enhances your emotional resilience and brings a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. Now, that's all great and good, right? That's all fine and kind. But what does it have to do with letting go? I'm glad you asked that. I'm grateful for this water because my throat's getting parched. So, gratitude really does play a huge role in the act of letting go because it gently shifts our focus from loss and attachment, grief, to appreciation. When we're in the act of releasing something, whether it's a past hurt, an expectation, a relationship, feelings, whatever it is, gratitude helps by allowing us to recognize what we've gained, even from the difficult experiences. This might be a lesson learned, it could be personal growth, or it could just be surviving. Whatever it is, I know it's helped me in difficult situations to think, I can use this. I can use this for my growth. I can use this and be grateful for it. I mean, you actually can be grateful when you look at it that way. It can be hard, and you have to actually do it. You have to actually learn from the experience and incorporate it into your schema. But you can be grateful for difficult experiences. One of the things that helps me too is thinking I can help people. Like, okay, I went through this, it sucks, but I can turn it around and I can use it to help people, which is what this whole becoming untethered thing is all about. But when we focus on what we've received or learned, gratitude, it reduces the feeling of scarcity. And scarcity is often what makes letting go difficult. I can speak, I promise, I know words. It helps us recognize that even when there's an end to something or a separation or a loss, that there are gifts to be found. And when you have this mindset, you can begin to let go of resentment or fear with a sense of peace and acceptance, which paves the way for new experiences and growth, paves the way for moving on, paves the way for surrender, which we'll talk about 2 days from now, because we're not really doing this in real time. Surprise, surprise. Now, gratitude is a very healing force. There's a ton of research on it, and research has shown that gratitude enhances overall life satisfaction and reduces feelings of resentment and bitterness by shifting the focus to your positive emotions. This does not mean You don't feel those uncomfortable, resentment, bitterness, all those feelings. You feel them and you allow yourself to feel them. You don't suppress them. You allow them to pass through your body. You don't focus on them. You focus on the positive things. And that can be hard. And I hate to keep telling you this can be hard. This is hard, blah, blah, blah. But that's my experience of it. And I don't want to put it in your head because maybe you can just get over it. But I think if you're listening to these videos about letting go, you might have a few problems with it. So I just want to say that you're not alone in that. And it's a constant practice. These things we're talking about are all active. They're not passive. You can't expect to just have them be this, do that. You got to work at it. And I hate putting that into your head, but you do. It's my personal experience. You can't just wave a magic wand. Gratitude's also been linked to a greater ability to handle life stresses, the setbacks, the challenges. It strengthens resilience, basically, and it offers a tool for emotional resilience, especially after letting go of past hurts, or whatever it is you're holding on to. It supports like physical health. Studies have suggested that gratitude positively affects sleep quality, immune response, and heart health by lowering the stress and cortisol levels. It's a big deal, gratitude. It's a big deal. I suggest a gratitude practice, which, while I suggest, I do not practice as often as I should. Maybe we can do that together. Gratitude also can work in tandem with forgiveness. Forgiveness, when you forgive, it creates a space for gratitude. Letting go of the resentment makes room for the appreciation of the present. Because while you're discharging that feeling, that energy, there's space in you now where that energy was, that you can fill with gratitude. It's positive emotions filling the void where a negative emotion was. It also deepens compassion and empathy. Once you've forgiven someone, gratitude helps you extend empathy, not just to others, but also to yourself. Self-compassion, 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 self-compassion. And it affirms your words. It affirms your capacity to grow beyond your past wounds. You can get past it. And it strengthens self-acceptance. So important. By practicing gratitude, especially after or during self-forgiveness, people cultivate self-acceptance and reduce self-criticism, which can lessen anxiety and depression. Like, that's the point, right? However, I've been talking about gratitude like you flip a switch and you're grateful. Like, like, it's just great. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. You hear me at the end of these videos searching. Like, even if this is happening, I'm grateful for this, and you can choose it. And you can choose it. You can choose it. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you don't feel it. You want to say, I'm grateful for the air that I breathe, and you're like, that's a low standard. Screw that. I'm grateful for the home that I live in. Like, while that is something that inspires a lot of gratitude, when you're in that space, it can be really hard to feel it. And that's not something that's uncommon. It's very common. Sometimes it's the pain and the anger that overshadows it. You can't let go of the pain and anger to be grateful. You can't see the gifts of it or the grace of it. You're holding on to the lingering hurt and anger, which is what this month is all about, letting go. But recognizing that letting go of that pain and anger is a critical first step. Sometimes people need space and time to fully process their emotions. You gotta process, you gotta feel them, you gotta let them move through you. You can't suppress them. You need to avoid forced gratitude. It's something that we can really beat ourselves up about. we're not grateful for this or that. Even if something amazing happens and you're not feeling grateful, you're feeling blocked and you're still feeling that anger and that resentment for whatever reason, you can start to get down on yourself. Like, why the hell am I not grateful? People have it worse than me. This happened and it's wonderful. Why can't I feel grateful for it? What's wrong with me? Those are common thoughts. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just tough right now. Just give yourself a little bit of compassion and tell yourself it's understandable. It's fine. It's fine. You got to go through that to get to it's why did the chicken cross the road? Get to the other side. You can only get to those feelings of gratitude if you work your way through those feelings of non-gratitude. You know what I mean? Those resentments, those bitternesses. Because if you're trying to force it, it backfires on you very often. And what you're gonna do is just I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but it's okay to acknowledge that gratitude is inaccessible at sometimes, and that is a normal part of the healing process. Now, what then do? You work past hurt to cultivate gratitude. Not passive, guys. Not passive. Very active. You got to keep choosing it. That's why I sign off saying you can always choose to have a grateful day, right? Choose. But that doesn't necessarily mean you feel it. You just got to keep coming back to it. So if you want to take baby steps towards it, you can just start by reflecting on simple, neutral experiences rather than trying to feel grateful, right? Like right away, like, oh, I should be grateful for this thing. Well, that's great. And not even that's great. Like just, acknowledging the experience, acknowledging whatever it is that's neutral, and don't worry about feeling grateful. So you can kind of, let's say it's a sunny day. You can be like, you know what I mean? Notice it. Feel whatever it is you feel for it. Baby steps, right? It starts building your openness to gratitude. If you reflect on the personal growth from the situation, especially if forgiveness has occurred, or you're trying to forgive, and you're focusing on personal growth that came from this painful situation, you can kind of bridge that gap between genuine gratitude and not feeling gratitude over time. It could take some time. And again, like lots of experience with that. You can choose to be grateful about these negative experiences, these things that hurt you. Acknowledge the lesson. Feel grateful, like, oh my God, I get to grow. It's a big deal. It does help. It does help. So, looking at my notes, self-compassion. We keep coming back to it, but it is that important. It's a form of gratitude, right? Practicing self-compassion, acknowledging that it's okay to feel hurt, to feel grief, or to process anger. It's not only okay to go through these things, it's necessary too. And it's a stepping stone towards gratitude and allowing for emotional healing without denial. So give yourself a break. And that's easier said than done, I know. But anything you're feeling is okay. It's okay. Just feel it. It's a feeling. You are not your feelings. You are not your thoughts. Detach yourself as much as possible from them. And again, I'm not an expert at that. I'm just telling you what I know and what I work towards. So the healing that you can, the practices that you can do to strengthen gratitude. One is gratitude journaling, right? There's gratitude practices. A big one's gratitude journaling. You write down the things for which you're grateful, and especially if they're related to personal healing, this can help you anchor in the present and reflect on the growth and the gifts you've been given, even if you're writing shit down that you don't feel grateful for, but you know that you should. Don't feel bad about it, but just write it down. I had this experience the other day where I looked back at an entry that a gratitude journal entry that I'd written, and it made me feel better to read it back to myself than it did to write it down. So don't discount that idea. It's a big deal, though, to reflect on what's going on and what there is to be grateful for which there's something, I'm not going to try to restructure that sentence. Mindfulness will help you focus on gratitude. When you practice a mindfulness meditation, especially if you can get your hands on a guided gratitude exercise, these can help you lean into gratitude over time, even if only for small aspects at first. And if you can reframe, we just talked about this, but if you can reframe pain as growth and reflect on the challenges that you've overcome, you can be proud of yourself for, and the growth that they fostered. Or even if you're not proud of yourself, you can look at that and be like, I can grow from that. And whether it's a strength or an insight or resilience, reframing your pain into growth can cultivate gratitude for your capacity to endure and transform. Seriously, it helps to be like, you know what? This is good because of this. Even if you feel a little motherfucker. Shouldn't have said that. Sorry, that was not good. But I'm not gonna start over. The phone just rang, and usually the recording stops when that happens. So that's what that was about. Okay, so gratitude, cultivating growth, great. Gratitude reshapes your future, and it works in tandem again with forgiveness. So you can build these positive cycles. Once gratitude becomes a regular practice, it tends to encourage further positive feelings and actions. Things feed off each other. Negative thoughts, negative feelings, they feed off each other. They reinforce each other. But the same is true for positivity and in gratitude. And if you get yourself into that cycle, it's easier to stay. So creating a self-reinforcing cycle, I can't speak, it reinforces and supports your long-term well-being and positive relationships. It also helps you to cultivate optimism and openness. When you practice gratitude, it fosters a sense of hope and openness towards the future and relationships and experiences, and it reduces your fear and increasing your trust in life as it unfolds. It strengthens, if you're a spiritual person, it strengthens your connection with spirituality or some higher purpose. Gratitude, especially after forgiveness, can deepen their connection to spirituality, your purpose, or sense of belonging to something larger, and provides further healing. We're going to wrap it up, guys. I know this is a long one. The interplay between gratitude and authenticity. Gratitude has to be authentic to be real. It's never forced. And it generally arises as a natural result of your healing and openness. And it reminds individuals that authentic feelings are sustaining rather than forced positivity. That doesn't work. Because you're not positive if you're forcing it. Gratitude allows space for complex emotions. We're not always feeling one thing at a time. We can have a ton of feelings all at once. And by embracing all of those emotions, being grateful for all emotions, hard, I know, but can be done. Individuals can move through healing without repression, which would be you not moving through healing, while you're cultivating a deep, authentic appreciation for life in all its forms. So that is my story on gratitude. I hope you excuse the cussing in the middle there or just towards the end. And, as usual, even if you don't feel grateful and you're trying, you can always choose to have a grateful day.